Good morning and welcome to our LegacySAFE program designed for our youth. I would like to appreciate all of you wherever you're joining from. I want to start the appreciation first through the Heart Over Anything Corporation that has gone into partnership with Legacy Premier Foundation to bring this session to you. I welcome all the young leaders, all the leaders that are on this call. Your decision to be here today is very valued, and we do expect that we will all have fun together. It will be interactive. It will be at a pace that you can understand. I want to start by saying, who is Legacy Premier Foundation? Who is facilitating this program? Legacy Premier Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit that has been in existence for over 14 years. And our sole reason for being in existence is to serve the underrepresented community and to focus on financial literacy, business development, entrepreneurial development. As some of you know or might not know, my background is in banking. I was a former vice president of a bank, and I was in retail, business banking, in various segments of banking. But the bottom line is economics matters. Economics matters. Money matters. But it takes training. It takes intentionality. It's not just something that happens. It's not easy to understand financial literacy, but it can be taught. And if you have made a decision to be joining us right now, or if you will take a listen later, you have done the right thing. Financial literacy is here to stay. It's the ability for you to understand the power of you understanding the savings aspect of life, the current account access of life, the ability to invest, the ability to understand the power of credit. All of this are included. So I want to welcome all of you once again before I dive into my session, and to thank all of the people who have helped to put this together. Events like this don't just happen. I don't want to mention names, but I thank you all. You know yourselves, those who have helped us to make today a reality. And we look for many more information to help our young leaders, especially, to get to that next level of understanding financial literacy. If I were in a classroom with you and I was looking at your handsome and beautiful faces, I will go and ask a question like this. What does financial literacy mean to you? And I would see a lot of hands go up. As an adjunct professor who teaches personal finance to a lot of the incoming freshmen, I get a great joy in being able to ask that question and letting them understand that the personal finance that they're about to embark on for a whole semester is going to be one of those classes that they never forget in a hurry, right? Because you never forget your money when you have money. You never forget that you want to make money. You never forget that you want to spend money, but it takes a process. So this morning, I'm saying to you, what does financial literacy mean to you? If you want to type it on the chat box, go for it. You don't have to. If you just want to take a listen, you're welcome to do whatever you need to do just to learn today. So whatever that means to you simply is just the ability for you to understand that your finances are important, the ability to understand that there's a way that you can create access to resources that you need to be financially able, for you to understand that you need to also know that budgeting is very critical. Our needs, human needs, are insatiable. What that simply means is that human beings always have, we always want one more thing, one more thing. We always want one more, that one more thing. So there's never a time that we feel like, oh, I have everything I need. And because of that, there's always going to be a need for you and I to need more money, to spend more money, or to want to just treat ourselves. There's nothing wrong with that. It just takes a system for you to understand What is going to be that opportunity cost when you decide to do something differently than what you're supposed to do? But it starts with understanding, what are we supposed to do? That's the first thing. And I would say to you that savings is a habit. Savings is a habit. And saving starts as early as you want it to start. I know some of us, when we were growing up, or when we were watching other people grow up, we realized that when we did chores around the house, sometimes our parents would give us little pennies here and there. We run to the jar, we put the coins there, and we go back. And when that uncle comes or that friend comes to visit the family and they see how well behaved you are, they say, oh, here it is. So you keep dumping those coins in the jar. But guess what? Those coins add up. They add up because it becomes a habit. You didn't take those coins and say, oh, I'm running to get ice cream with all of it. You might treat yourself sometimes, but the first instinct is you run to the jar to put your coins in there. That's how that savings mindset starts. So you understand that you want to put this money away and you are going to spend it at a future time. And another step that you would take if you were exposed to it was the ability to say, you know what, mom, dad, auntie, uncle, or whoever the adult in your life is might say, Debbie, let's go and open an account. Let's take all these coins. In those days, they would say, let's roll it up. You have all the dimes rolled up. You have all the quarters rolled up. You have all the pennies rolled up. Then you go all excitedly to your bank or to your family's bank, whoever is taking you. And then you go there, they make it a very ceremonial. I remember I used to be so excited when an adult brings young people that need to open an account. I get excited because that's the beginning of the journey. And you have a conversation with your banker, and they go ahead and tell you exactly what you're going to be doing, and they make you feel very special and say, oh, Debbie, today, first of all, Debbie, congratulations that you've brought all this money that you have saved for over so many years or months, and now you have come to put it in the bank. So the banker would now engage you and tell you what you're about to do. The banker will tell you what you're about to do because the banker is excited for you, knowing that you are also coming to that family of savers. Because what we preach is to encourage people to save, no matter how much you make. If you do not have a savings habit, it will look like you didn't make anything. The money has wings, it will walk away. But if you already have in your mindset that you're going to drop all those coins in the jar and you're going to bring it out and come and set your account. So when you now finally get to the bank, right? That's an exciting trip, and you get all your coins, or sometimes you have additions from parents who are trying to incentivize you to save, and then you get your account open, your name is on there, your parents' names or adults' names are on there, because it can't just be your name until you're 18. You're not legal enough to have an account. I think nowadays, if people are working, maybe there are exceptions in some banks, but generally speaking, the legal age is 18, but maybe there are little variations here and there. They get your account open for you. It's a custodian account. Your name is on it. An adult's name is on it. They sometimes will let you have ATM access to it, like a debit card, and sometimes they won't. But whatever form of payment, of withdrawals, you will have access to your money. So you'll get your statement every month. If you save savings, you get a quarterly statement, and it shows what you have. And once you see the first statement with your name and everything else, you're excited, right? It's not just what is inside the account at that point. You're excited that you're part of something bigger than you. You're excited that you're part of a future that's coming and is unfolding, and now you might end up growing up and then become a saver, because now you know you cannot spend all the money. So that's how savings were introduced to a lot of people. You're hearing me now and you're saying, what is she talking about? I never had all of this. Never mind. It's never too late. There's never a late time when it comes to financial literacy. It's time when you are ready. And I believe you're ready when you're listening to me and you decide to take action. So now you have your savings account, and you know every time you're getting money from chores, or maybe sometimes some of us have summer jobs if we're of that age, and we go ahead and we keep adding it on and adding it on, and occasionally you'll be able to treat yourself. You have this special need that you want. There's this designer, something that's special, that's beyond the budget of parents. Maybe your parent is like, all I owe you is just take you to Kmart, take you to Target, and pick and have clothes on you. I don't have to make it a designer. But when you have your coins, you can say, you know what, mom, dad, auntie, uncle, whoever, that I would like to get that pair of shoes. Maybe the budget on the parent side is $20, and you say, well, this is what I like, it's 25. You now have your $5. So do you have your skin in the game? You're able to negotiate. There's this feeling of knowing that you're going to be able to do what you need to do. And what is beautiful with that experience is we take it further. When you get older, then you are used to this savings. You're going to be more conscious on the monies that you spend. When the money comes in, you're not just going to go out there and let it go down the drain. You get frugal. I know I have so many mentees in my life that we've taught this principle. Their frugality is even more, it's to another level. They are so like conscious and cautious. And you might think, what are we talking about? When it starts coming and playing in your mind, you'll be very happy with yourself, because now you know that savings is important. It's not just on what you make. It's all about what are you also intentionally keeping. Some of us have faith whereby we tithe. And when you tithe yourself. That's what savings is about. Tithing yourself. Maybe for some of us that have religious background that we believe in, 10%. Make another 10% yours. As you're doing that, do it for you. So then it becomes easy. It becomes fun. You should create fun out of it. So now you become a saver, a super saver who now knows, oh, I want to do this. Now you're much older. You're like, I want to take this trip. I want to do this. So you're planning, you're saving. When I was in corporate America, I remember people would come and say that they wanted to go on vacation and they will want to borrow to do that. And for the first time, I was like, oh, I didn't know that people can borrow to go on vacation. But that's when they let their credit speak for them. But we'll get to that point. So now you have your savings. You now have the mindset of a saver, because everything starts in your mind. If you know you can and you have a mindset that you will find a way to do it. Absolutely, you will find a way. There's nothing that will be so impossible for you to do. Honestly, I guarantee you that. It's just that habit that really gives you that ability to do what you need to do. So now you are a saver. Oh, there's this thing flying in my head. There's a saver. You've become a saver who truly believes in not spending everything that is really going to be a deterrent. I mean, you want to be able to save. Now you have mastered savings. Now you want to take it to another level, whereby you have what is called a current account. That's a checking account. Nowadays, nobody writes checks, I know, but I still think it's important to understand the fundamentals of all this ATM swiping, electronic swiping. Traditionally, check writing is just your ability to put an amount on a check based on what you have in your balance, with your signature, with a date, with an amount, with you having a reconciliation checklist, something that tells you, okay, this is what you have. Your beginning balance is $100. You spent $5 today. It's now $95. You're carrying a running total, not just the ones that it's online, whereby you might forget or you swipe and then you realize, oops, I just swiped my debit card and I don't have all the money. Maybe I swipe it for something that's $1 and then it overdraws my account. Right away, you're going to get an overdraft fee, which was not necessary. And that overdraft fee can eat up a lot of your money. Some overdraft fees are $39 and sometimes they leave on there. But why give your money to a bank when you are still trying to make money? You need to understand, and it's not the bank's fault. Banks make money on fee income. It's a business. A bank is a business, especially the commercial banks. Every bank wants to be able to have fee income. They don't want to gouge you, but if you're going to be not quite responsible for what comes in and what goes out, they're not going to just keep paying your check, so they'll charge you. So maybe that would be a wake-up call. But let's not even go there. Let's have a reconciliation sheet whereby everything we do, it's in order. We know what's in, what's coming out, where's the balance, do we have a little extra, and so on and so forth. So now you get your checking, you're now doing your reconciliation in a way that you're not overspending. If you underspend, great. That means you can treat yourself occasionally, and that makes a habit that you now grow into. So the mindset of having a check reconciliation should be the same mindset we use for our other things that we do, our ATM usages. ATM is just money you have in the bank that you're spending. It should not just be anything we're swiping and then later think, oops, I just got a coffee from Starbucks, $5. Oops, I only had $4 there. Now I overdrew it. Now you're getting charged for $39. That's not the habit. That's why it's good to still do the manual or online reconciliation so that you don't ever overspend and give away money that you never have in the first place to be giving to everyone. So now you have your checking. You're now a good, super checking reconciliation person. And you're thinking, how can I master all of those things? You will, because you now have what we call a budget. You have in mind a budget. That's what do you have? What are you also going to be in the need to spend? What are those necessities? Because there's always a need to spend more than we think we make. But what are the priorities of must do? For us adults, we've got to pay our mortgage, we've got to pay our rent. And same thing for our parents. So when we are young, we might not be paying all of that. I'll tell my students, even if you're living at home and you're not paying all of those, if you're working, pretend that you're paying them. That's where your savings mindset kicks in. You're like, yes, now I have all these extra coins for me because I'm leaving home. I don't have to pay the $1,000 rent and all of that. But that's not the time to have liberty to go anywhere and everywhere without savings. You always have to save for emergency. I always say 6 months is the rule of thumb, and I've had it over and over. When COVID hit, I'm like, woo, I used to think 6 months was a lot. Sounds like we need 2 years, because that really hit a lot of us. So those are things that you have to draw parallels on, so that what we're talking about now is not abstract. It's trying to bring it to reality. So when you have a budget, and budget is online, there are templates that are floating around that you can use. They don't cost you anything. Find a simple one that you believe that you would understand. If you don't even have a budget system that you want to use, you could just make it simple. Get yourself a plain piece of paper, have what is coming in, what are your expenses, and what do you have left. And if you see that you're spending more than what you're making, two things has to happen. Either your job will pay you more and you can have more money, or you get a side job that will augment your expense. But don't do that at the expense of just using the money without a purpose. Maybe if you're trying to get a house or something that's significant, if you pull that second job, don't let the money go to Starbucks. Don't let it go to all the movie nights. Don't let it go to the shopping with the designer stuff when you're quite not there yet. I don't have any problems with all of these things. I believe in people celebrating themselves and treating themselves and spoiling themselves. But I'm just saying, let's do it in order of priority, so that as an individual, you're not stretched in your neck by trying to rob Peter to pay Paul and not really living the life that we're supposed to live. So budgeting is very critical, and it's very simple. If you already have a saver's mindset when you were growing, or when you decided to know that your money has to work for you, you will not spend just anyhow. Frugality would tell you that if there are movies that you can watch on a weekend, if they have the same movie on a weekday during summer, why not go to the summer one? I mean, go to the weekday one. Maybe the weekend one is $15. The weekday one is $10 or $5. Why not? It's the same movie. Just do it in a way that you're saving. And plus, with the Starbucks, if you have not gotten to the level whereby that extra $5 will not pinch you in the pocket, why don't you buy your pot of coffee? from a grocery store and make your own coffee. That would save you $5 a day. $5 a day times how many days you go to Starbucks. That's savings in your pocket. And if you go and get a $5 worth of coffee in any of the grocery store and make it, you can drink as much of that as you want. There's always a season for everything. And I'm not saying this to say you should not treat yourself. No, I'm saying that when you're in a season whereby you have limited cash, that's not the time to extend yourself and stretch yourself. And then you become grouchy when you can't really meet the ends. Who started it? You brought it to yourself. So we have to understand that whether it be pressure from anything should not be an excuse for us not to do what we're supposed to do, because we know our own story. We don't know other people's story. Some people have it like that. Some people, maybe they're in college, their parents are paying every penny of everything that's needed. When I went to college, I put myself through college. So every penny I have to use, I have to work for it. So I might not have all the free time to hang out with everybody. One day we will all meet and hang out together. So know where you are, and wherever you are, don't try to be like any Joneses. You don't know their story, especially in financial matters. You don't know what people have. Everybody wings it and presents and has a facade of having, but the mentality of a saver is critical. The mentality of somebody who balances and reconciles your checking account or your debit card and going every month or every week to say, okay, how many swipes did I do? What did I use my swipes on? And if you look at all of the things you use it on, do they make sense? Did you have to do it? Or did you just do it? If you think that, oh, wow, I find myself going to this place too many times, eating out every time, maybe it's time to go to the grocery store and cook some healthy meals. So you're not paying all this unnecessary money to somebody. You're going to get to a point where everything you want to do, you can eat out, you can afford it. You can close your eyes and just swipe it and go to any big name restaurant. Know your season and know your reason. So never, ever think that it's the end. Whatever reasons is making you to be frugal, keep it up. It's going to help you when you get to the level where you're even making more money and you're in a bigger state, because your mindset will be already prone to doing such a thing. And, you know, as someone that's a saver, a person who also has a budget, things will change. Your rent won't always be your rent forever. Your car loan and all of that. Get things that will be manageable, that's within your reach. Yes, some people get car loans. They get cars that are a little overboard for the now. Don't do that. Make your car loan affordable, that you don't have to do 3-4 jobs just to have that car. Get something functional for now, and you can always upgrade. And if you've ever been in the car hunting season, you know that cars you buy today, it depreciates. Cars don't appreciate, they depreciate. So you've got to know things that depreciate and things that appreciate. Real estate appreciates. So when you're going to take advantage of investment, you are thinking of it in terms of, is this going to add value? How is it going to add value? Is this going to go up or down? Cars, we need cars, yes, but we don't have to have the bells and whistles on our first car or second car. We have to look at what our income and our budget supports in terms of the car. So you got it. The budget, your goal is to never be in a negative situation. Having said all of these great things, is it easy? Not always. Is it doable? Absolutely, positively, yes, it is doable. But it takes intentionality. It takes you being cautious about what needs to be done and just practicing and seeing some of the things I'm saying will work for you. Some you might say, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Some might not work for you. But one thing I know for you for sure is savings is a habit, and you have to be willing to inculcate that habit in you so that becomes you. And that's how you process everything you do. People might call you stingy sometimes or what have you, but you know you're not stingy. They might say, oh, why don't you spend this money? They don't know what money you have. They don't know that if you save $10 is a big deal. If you go and watch that movie on a Thursday versus a Saturday, it saves you money. Just be upfront with people and just say, that's I mean, it's not within my budget. That's a good answer. I tell my students, if people want you to do stuff, if it's not within your budget or you don't think you have the resources, just, oh, Remy, that's not within my budget right now. Maybe we can try it next time. When you say that a few times, they'll start wondering. Some might be bold enough to say, so what is your budget? What do you mean it's not in your budget? Then you can educate them about financial literacy, about what you are learning and what you think it's important for them to learn. And that's how we all replicate ourselves and help ourselves. That's how we replicate and help ourselves to understand that we need economic empowerment within our community, as especially people of color. We need economic empowerment. We need ability to understand financial matters all the time, not sometimes. And when you've been able to get to a point that you're saving, you also have a job, and even with the job you're saving, you're making sure you cut your coat according to your sizes and all of that, you're renting. After you've rented, and you've rented meritocratically, and you've helped people, I mean, you've paid your rent on time. Think of owning your own home. Think of owning your home, because when you own your own home, it appreciates. You're not paying for somebody else to pay their mortgage, but you start as a renter, and be a good renter. Pay on time, because they're going to need your landlord to verify how you took care of the house, how you paid your rent. So be fair and be committed to your responsibility. Storytelling is not going to help you. When you're becoming a habitual storyteller on reasons why you can't do this and do that, go back to the drawing board. Do you need to downsize? Did you jump quickly to something that maybe needs to be restructured? It's okay. No worries. People can make a mistake and recircle back. Just always think of it from that perspective, that, okay, this is my now. This is what I have. Now that I'm renting, I want to plan to get a house maybe in another year, in another 2 years. Give yourself time to build upon savings that you're already building. When you now have a targeted purpose of purchase or anything that you want to do, then you can intensify your savings. You can now say, oh, I'm going to save $200 every month now, because I want to get this car. I want to pay a lot of down payment so that my car note is not more than such and such. So you now can play around with it, and you reduce the stress. It's not a pretty thing to be in a financial distress. It can lead to ill health. It can lead to your mindset being just mentally just disrupted. So just try your best not to bring a lot of things down to you that now becomes you trying to water hell shooting. I mean, you're just troubleshooting every time, whereby you now don't even enjoy the life. And life is meant to be enjoyed, not endured. That's another story for another day. So now you have mastered your ability to save and all of that good stuff, and you're taking it to that next level. Now your money is sitting in your savings. The interest rate there is not all that. So you want to inch it up and say, okay, how long is this money sitting in my savings? Can I just do without this money for another 1 year, another 2 years, or whatever length of time you believe you can deal with? Then you inch it up to what they call a certificate of deposit. These are all insured by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. And do talk to your bank to see what the limits are. I'm not in that space to talk about that today. I just want to let you know that there are levels of savings that you would also graduate to. When you start with your basic savings, you're going to graduate to your money market savings. You're going to graduate to your CD, which is a certificate of deposit. All of these are ways that you earn greater interest on your money. Because the money, if we don't let our money work for us, we work for our money. So we should be thinking of how we will make it work for us. And the best way to make it work for us is to understand the various types of investments that are out there that based on our risk tolerance and the level and the season we are, might just be the safety net investment, which is the money market savings, the certificate of deposit, whereby you know that the interest rate might not be so high, but it's higher than your regular savings. And then at some point, you're going to inch it up and say, okay, now my money is just sitting idly in the CD. I want to take it to another level. Then you start talking to the licensed investment officers, and your bank is the best place to start. They don't charge you to have conversations with those investment officers who are licensed to talk to you about other things. Don't worry about what you have in the bank. Don't, because they don't know what else you have elsewhere. And a good professional will treat everybody the same so that they can uncover other assets that they can bring to their bank. So don't worry. We don't judge people by what you see in the bank, because you're thinking, when I was in banking, I was always thinking there's something else somebody has in another bank. So if I treat them right and do what I need to do, my singular goal is to bring those assets to my own bank and be able to meet my goals as an associate. So that's the way most bankers think. So just get information. So when the money comes, you know exactly what you want to do with it, and know what is your risk tolerance. What kind of risk can you tolerate? I don't know if there are questions going on. Okay, I'm reading the chat. So if there are questions that people have, just post it on. If you have comments, post it on. I see Timothy says, yes, the earlier you learn it, the better you will be in life. Extremely key. Thank you for agreeing. We hear people agreeing with us. This is a fact. Some of us have been there, done it. So we're trying to make sure that you hit the ground running, and then the mistakes we've made, that you don't have to go through that if you learn from the mistakes the people before you have experienced. So now you are an ardent saver. You're now taking it to that next level. You're talking to your banker and getting ideas on what you want to do. You're also telling them, guess what? I'm a renter now. I'm looking at getting my house in another 2 years. Immediately their antenna is going and they're referring you to their mortgage division. So there's so much that you can get, but you have to be willing to get information. And this information is free, honestly. You talk to your banker, you don't get charged for that. Don't just make your deposit and walk away. No, don't do that. Don't just say, oh, hi, Remy. Stop and let them know what you're working on, because you don't know. Maybe there are programs that's happening right there, even though they will walk up to you in the teller line and say, oh, how are you, and all of that. But in order for us not to be looked at as pushy as bankers, we might not necessarily hit you and say, oh, these are opportunities. Be comfortable to let your banker be your compass to your financial resources. Yes, the banker you're talking to might not know all the answers, but guess what? The banks have affiliations. They have departments that are all affiliated. So it's a phone call away to call somebody when you want to talk about investment. Is a phone call away to talk to somebody about mortgage. If you're a business owner, it's a phone call to say, oh, these are the type of businesses. These are merchant services. These are commercial loans. It's a phone call. So have relationship development with your bank. It could be a credit union. It could be a commercial bank. Whatever the bank name is, have a relationship. I mean, it's not just about the balance you have. Show yourself as relatable so that your bankers will take your interest at heart. And when you ask questions, they will go the extra mile for you. Again, when you have done all of this, you're getting closer to having a better mastery of this money journey, because it's a journey. It's never going to be a perfect stop whereby you think I've learned everything. Occasionally you will slip and fall and make some mistakes, but you've got to figure out, how do you retract yourself back? How do you not do what you did before and just recorrect yourself? And that takes me to credit. Credibility is very important. In this system, we're living in a credit society. No matter how much money you make or have, it's always a sweet spot to use other people's money to make money. I repeat, using other people's money to make money. That's what you do when you get credit extended to you and you go and fund your passion, for your business idea that you've been nursing, or you found your passion of owning your own home, you found your passion of owning your own business. Because when you buy your house, the equity that you're going to be gaining, you're not going to split it with a bank. But the funding that you use to get in the loan, as long as you're paying your mortgage, they don't bother you, but the equity growing is all you. So it starts with the ability to understand that credit is important. And I know I'm talking, my target is younger adults, but I also want to let you know that credit is real. And when you are in college, you will get credit introduced to you through various companies coming on campus and saying, oh, we have a student visa, we have a student checking. If you have not learned it at that point, I pray that you would have learned it before you even hit college. That is the better way. So you don't jump and apply for every single thing. You have a little understanding before you go ahead and be at every desk and see who is doing what and so on and so forth. Credit is king, and credit is not just about what you have in the bank. It's your ability to repay back. It's your ability to understand what is your capacity. It's your ability to understand what is the collateral that is behind what you're doing. It's your ability to also understand that how can you have a backup to ensure that you're not getting into what you're not supposed to get into. If you get into a debt you're not supposed to get into, you will not be able to service the debt. You will not be able to service the debt because the debt will be a little over your head, and your income is not going to double overnight. Some incomes double overnight, but it's not common to every single. I know my income has never doubled overnight, but maybe there are some lucky ones out there. But you have to be able to understand the credit nuances that will get you. And I will go deeper in that after we get the technology section done from 11 to 11:30. When I come back on, I will talk more on the credit piece. Credit is king, and there are so many things that we need to know about credit. We need to understand that before you get credit, there are things that has to be in order. You have to first learn to establish credit. Your savings account that you have with the bank, your money market, or any of the accounts that you have, you can use it as a cash secured to establish credit. It could be as small as $300. So you have your $300 in your savings held against a card that they will give you. When you have that $300 card, they have your $300 held as collateral. When you have displayed your ability to use and pay, it will start showing and reporting credibly on your credit report. That now opens you up to the wall to say that, okay, you are in the credit system. People will send invitations to say, oh, Debbie, come and apply for credit with us. Be mindful that all those inquiries will hurt you. The inquiries, you don't want to be excessive with just applying for everything. You know why? Because those inquiries, when it shows a lot, if you're coming to me later as your bank and you need something, and I see that you have gone to 10 places that they are checking your credit, I'm thinking, Debbie, what if all these 10 people grant you credit while I'm also trying to grant you, and you're only using one source of income? How will you be able to repay all of us? So that's what's going through my mind. So more than likely, I might not give you credit. I would just say excessive inquiries. And people wonder, so why is that a problem? Why it's a problem is there's a reason why you applied for those excessive, why you applied for those other credit. There's a reason. And because there's a reason why you apply, if those reasons became positive, and now you came to me for credit application, and I give it to you, Everybody gives it to you. Now you have all these open lines of credit that now becomes a nightmare because there will be that temptation to use this cards or to use this credit. There will be temptation for that. And you don't want to be tempted. When you're tempted, it's harder. When you have all the open lines, you might say, oh, I'll use my Macy's card today. Oh, because they said, oh, I get 20% if I use my Macy's card. You might not be able to pay it back right away. So that 20% is not, don't let that be a bait. Just be disciplined enough to do what you need to do and understand that your credit needs to stay strong all the time. Do emergencies come up, that life shows up and things get messed up? Yes, absolutely. I've been through situations where life showed up and my business went down, my mortgage business went down, and I had to rebuild again. Thank God for the knowledge that I carry from being in the finance world. My rebuilding was very painful, but I knew it was doable, but it was a system that was already in my head that I had to work on. If I didn't have that system, my worry level will be bigger because I will be thinking there's something magical that will solve this problem. Guess what? There's nothing magical that will solve any problem when it comes to finances. You just have to understand the power of savings, the power of your budgeting, and the power of using your credit reasonably, and the power of knowing that you cut your coat according to your size, that sometimes you might have to downsize and retract your steps to ensure that you're not just going at a pace whereby you have forgotten that the resources have depleted. So remember that all of these things that we're talking about, some of it might not make sense right now, but it will make sense as you begin to get into the space. And another area I want to touch on before I get my next speaker to come on, I think I have a few more minutes on my session, is retirement. That's also a plan. Just like you plan for savings, you have to plan for retirement. And I tell people, you plan for retirement as soon as you start working. You don't wait till, oh, you're saying, oh, I'm young. Let the time value of money work for you. So if you start putting your little coins in your 401k, if you're working for a company and they offer it to you and say, oh, we'll help, we'll match your contribution, please take advantage of it. Don't say, oh, the money is not a lot. That's free money you're leaving on the table. Whatever you can do is what you should take out. It could be 1%, even if they're matching 5%. If all you can do, just do something so that you get that free 1%. And if you can do all the 5 or whatever the maximum is, do it. It reduces your tax liability, and you now have more time for your money to appreciate. And you work for employers, they offer that to you. If you don't work for employers and you have your own business, make sure you're putting money aside for your retirement, because you will be amazed. Time will come like boom, it will be time to work and retire. So you have all the basic principles and fundamentals of financial literacy. Then it's easier for you to fill in the bucket, because when you know the buckets, then you can fill in the buckets to guide you so that you don't overspend. You can even help your parents to have better mastery of financial matters, because I know a lot of us adults, sometimes the financial mastery too, we're still learning. But the younger generation, because there's a lot of awareness in the financial literacy space, people are having information here and there, trying to get that information out for the emerging leaders to get it. Because we know when you get it, that is going to set you free to be able to do things more frugally and more intelligently. And then you will be able to create wealth. Wealth creation will be part of your everyday DNA. You're going to be thinking, how can you multiply? How can you team up? How can you grow together? How can you use your second job that you're doing to save, rather than just going out and spending it all. That's all just in one place. This helps you to have a wealth creation mentality. We have a program that we're going to be running series of. We've done it in the past. We're calling it Wealth Creation Clinic, where we will be bringing some of this basic stuff to you, where you have various speakers who are experts in those areas. So if any of these things are of interest, please reach out to us to let us know that yes, we can continue this conversation. I know there's never enough time to continue and to have enough information shared as under financial literacy. You can never know too much of it. So this Wealth Creation Clinic series will be where you can hop in. It will be free. There's no cost for you to attend it. It will just be that you will be informed and you come, and whoever has invited you here, you can please let them know if you're interested. And I'm about to put our website here, so you can also hop in and reach out to us. I'm putting the website. If you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing. So some of you can just take advantage of this to check our website out. Is LegacyPremier.org. That is the website. I just sent that to you guys. And I will also put our email here so that you can reach out to us if any of these questions or any of these things that we're talking about today, you need to know more about it. I ask that you please email us at info@legacypremier.org. I will send that in so you have that, because money matters is continuous. It's not something that stops. And the worst thing is to be stuck and not know where to call. You definitely don't have to call Ghostbusters. You just need to info@legacypremier.org. We promise we will definitely get back with you and let you know how we can link you with our partners who ranges from various resources out there. So we're not an island. We will get you to ensure that this financial literacy matters. It's something that you definitely get down pat. If there are questions, you can put it in the chat. I can see your chat. So please put it on if you have any questions. I also, if there are no questions, I'm reading the chat as you're speaking. I do hope that you're reading also mine. I just put a website. I put the our email address, so you can also reach out to us and be able to know that this is a continuous opportunity for us to have a dialogue that we would take to do things together. I know that there's some of you who have joined us from various places. Some of you will join and listen to this later, because I know a few of you had other things that you needed to take care of. But guess what? This is going to be documentation information that you can use. And let us know what topics are of interest to you, because when we know what topics are of interest to you, we want to make sure we bring that topic to you so you can benefit from what you want to see knowledge on, not just what we are talking about. Financial literacy is one of those topics that is universal. When I say universal, I mean it's one of those topics wherever you are in the world, wherever you are in the state, wherever you are in the county, wherever you are in life, whoever you are, whatever color, creed, race, whatever, financial literacy is very pivotal. And what we're trying to do these days is to ensure that we're teaching this versus just assuming that this will be learned somewhere, but we're teaching it to allow everybody to understand that it can be taught, and the knowledge and the nuggets that you get now will multiply and help you to think straight. When I have started the semester with my students, teaching the principles of finance, a lot of times people come, they want to know more. Sometimes they're wondering, why am I taking this as elective? The feedback we've gotten has been phenomenal. And kudos to the university for allowing such a program, a course to be open to everybody, especially the freshmen. They would say, you know what, Prof, what I have used with this knowledge is I'm helping my mom to see how we can do this with our mortgage. I'm helping my auntie to see how she can do this with her credit. I'm using this knowledge. So they immediately become teachers. So you might be thinking, all I'm saying right now doesn't apply to you personally today. But guess what? You have family members, you have friends who can benefit from what you are getting right now. Share that with them. And as you're sharing with them and they are learning, you are also strengthening your knowledge. And then you are able to better help other people have that wealth creation mentality. Wealth creation mentality is something that is taught. It's not something you're just born with. Yes, some people are born with it, maybe because they have mentors in their homes who have been doing things and they can see it. But a lot of times this can be taught. If we hear things like this that we're talking about, and you activate some of it and you see how it works, that's a conviction. It doesn't matter what your background is right there. It just matters, what are you going to do with the knowledge you're gaining? And that's why Legacy Premier Foundation, we're very distinguished. Our singular focus is the underserved community. We'll take everybody, but we reach out to people who we know ordinarily would not hear things like this freely, or they have to jump through hoops to be ready to learn these things. That's why we make it our singular business to ensure that it's not just people who have it, is everybody. Everybody can learn this. Everybody can know that when they have money, they should put some aside. When they are young, the jar principle still works. Get a jar, put your coins in it, throw some bills in it too. Sometimes the beautiful one is when you just have, like, maybe somebody gives you $20 and you just close your eyes and you squeeze it in and you throw it with the coins. When you're now counting, and if it's a bigger bill too, you squeeze it and you throw it in. Because once you throw it in, you're not going to be able to pull it out. Don't use a jar where you can just go into. You just know that jar is hitting you to roll it up and take it to the bank. Most of the time, people do it by Christmas. They start in January to December, or they just take it to their bank as they need to. Whatever works for you, just do something. Start with something and make sure that you make those things that you start with work for you. That is so, so important. Because if you don't start with something and you want to start perfect, then it's going to be you trying to say, oh, can I do this? Can I do this? Can I do this? Then you're overthinking it. Financial literacy, you cannot overthink. You just need to take action. You just need to take action. And when you take action and you see that the action works, then you will believe in yourself. You believe in yourself, like, oh, I didn't really miss all these monies that I saved. I only just had to change that I don't eat out every day. I only just had to change that I wouldn't go to the movies on weekends. I can do it on weekdays. I only had to change that I would do my shopping at Walmart, where I get this. I don't work for Walmart, anybody, so please don't think I'm promoting. I'm just picking places where things are reasonable. Target, I don't work for them, but these are places you can get things that are functional, whether it be clothing, whatever you need, you can get it. And sometimes you get it at an affordable pricing. And that still makes you get by. And it makes you get by, but you can save money at the same time. And one day, the money will hit where you will have your money. You have it like that, then you can go to your Macy's, your Nordstroms, or wherever the big names are that you desire. Because new things will always pop up. But don't stretch yourself. Do not stretch yourself to let the new things take over how you plan your life. If it takes over, you're always going to be robbing Peter to pay Paul and hustling and bustling, and newer things will always come. But if you build it in a systematic way, and you have a progressive mindset on how this building of this process will start and where it might end, you will understand that building it this way will help you when you even become a serial entrepreneur. A serial entrepreneur will be somebody who owns their own business, and they will always need other people's money. They will to grow their business. They will need other people's expertise. They will need to hire people, and so on and so forth. Can you imagine you're head of a company and you have a session whereby you get someone to even talk to your associates just on financial matters? Yes, you're paying them. Yes, you can say, oh, it's none of my business what they do with their money. I'm not saying make it your business. I'm saying educate them so they can have a better understanding on how their monies would work. Trust me, they will be very loyal to you. This could be your recreational programs that you will teach. It could be recreational programs that you will teach those who would come and work for you. So when you know that it works, you definitely can share it with others. If it doesn't work, is when you worry. But if it works, you will share it with others. And that's what we do at Legacy Premier Foundation, is we share information with others, because we know some of the things that work, some other people might not be able to have access to it right away. So we bring people who have the access, who can give us a few nuggets here and there. The nuggets we share might not be the full blown of what you need right now, but it stirs up something in you. And that's what we're doing today. We have a financial literacy segment, which I'm going to be wrapping up in 3 minutes. And we have the technology section, which we will be having one of our partners, TextGiving, coming up to be able to talking about this. We will have him share some of the opportunities in the tech space, especially for our young generation that are up and coming. So that's what we do here. The Wealth Creation Clinic too will be series where we bring different people based on the topics that you are interested in. We will have different people, not just the young emerging leaders, that sometimes we'll have entrepreneurs who want to hear information that they can use. We will be here to demystify the hardship of financial literacy to the people locally and globally. Everything we've said here can be used by anybody. It can be used by anybody, anywhere, because the knowledge of financial literacy cuts across the board. And when we have a full understanding of that, then it just makes everything just as better as it needs to be. And then we can learn to team up and grow together. And one thing for sure is, as we teach and say these things, don't expect that you will know everything. I don't expect you to have all the answers or to have mastery and say, oh, I'm going to do everything by the book. But have the ability to ask questions. Raise your hand and ask questions. Don't feel afraid. Don't be ashamed. A lot of times when people don't ask, they might not know how to ask. But don't believe that because you ask, somebody will look down on you. No. Whoever looks down on somebody who is asking questions, that person needs to be looked down on. That's the person that doesn't understand the power of financial literacy. Because when people ask and they have clarity, when they know better, they will do better. That is always the rule of thumb. And that's what Legacy Premier Foundation will be doing to ensure that we clearly bring information to you at all times, and bring our partners who can talk to you about some other things that will be relevant to financial literacy, that would also be Afrocentric in conversation, so that together we know that we have a global village whereby we can share our wealth, our resources, our knowledge, our talent, our treasure, and monetize it for profitability and for the development of the universe. Right now, you can click on the button and connect with anybody, any part of the world. when you have better financial literacy mastery, then it's easier for you to do that. You can do that because you will now know what to ask. You know who are the kind of people do you want to interact with. And when you know all of this, then your conversation will go well. And then you can create access for somebody to have a clarity in wealth creation so that they come and they help you to get to that next level that you need to get to. So as I await our next speaker, I will continue to have a dialogue with you. We're expecting our next speaker any minute from now. They will join us for a brief 30 minutes, and then we will continue our session and then end it up and ask that you keep putting your questions on the chat box. Put your questions on the chat box if you have any, so that we can answer it for you now, or we can always post the answers where you can have access to do that. I'm checking on our speaker to know when we should expect them so we can continue this conversation, and then we can wrap it up and let you all enjoy your day. But stay tuned. We will have a lot of exciting things. A lot of exciting things will be coming up. If you have any questions or comments or even reactions based on what you've seen or what you've heard so far, put it in the chat box as we bring in our technology segment to you. What is on your mind right now? For those of you who are on, what are you thinking? What are we going to do next now that we've heard this? Those of us who are leaders who are on this, let us know your mindset. Let us know your mindset. Let us know your mindset. All right. So I have our next speaker, Ayo Duyele, one of the founders of Thanksgiving, who will be talking to us the next 30 minutes on technology, engaging the young leaders also to understand that they can also get into the tech space. Welcome to you, Ayo. Ayo doubles up as a son of a profession in his own right. So thank you, Ayo, for taking time out of your schedule. The next 30 minutes, we have some young leaders who are on and some who would be listening later. So we would like you to please share your nuggets like you always do.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I'll just go into a background about me. My name is Ayo Duyele from the DC metropolitan area. I got my exposure to tech when I was about 15 years old, working with my uncle at his IT maintenance shop. And from there, the exposure just kind of inspired me to keep learning more and learning more. And I went to Temple University and studied computer science and graduated. And then I got into more tech, working with Microsoft, Facebook, and now with Google. But as I got into tech, I noticed that there wasn't a lot of people that looked like me, and specifically people that were diverse, of African descent or African-American descent, women and men alike. And I wanted to change that. And that's how I started Thanksgiving, which is a nonprofit that's geared towards providing technical avenues for people that look more like me and you. Tech is a field that is growing. It's a field that's becoming more and more popular. We need to see more people that look like us building the actual tech instead of just consuming it. So that way it's for us and not just being bought by us as well too. So I'm excited to be here. If there's any nuggets that I have to say is just find your avenue, and not your avenue in technology, but just find your avenue in terms of what you want to do in life. I do think, this is probably biased speaking, but I do think everything revolves around tech in some sort of way anyways, right? So if you can learn it and you can get that exposure to it, I would definitely highly suggest learning it. There's so many different platforms to learn it. Traditional Google and YouTube are always the good ways to start. There's platforms like Career Karma, Stack Overflow, so many different platforms that people are using to learn technology. And I would just encourage you to do it. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. I think my LinkedIn is my name. So Ayo Ayodele Duyule on LinkedIn as well too. So definitely reach out to me if you have any questions on just traversing your career in tech and so on and so forth. But I don't really have much else to say. I do, I'm always good with taking questions and stuff like that as well too. If anybody has anything.
Yeah, we have some questions that were already pre asked. We know that you have done some programs that were tailored towards high schoolers in the area, and what were the successes to that, and how can some of those people take advantage of that? Because we have some youth, we have a particular company that's joining us today, and some of their students will be listening to this later. How could they leverage what TextGiving is doing to help underserved communities? Because that's who their target audience is.
Yeah, we've done a lot of programs with students in the DC metropolitan area, Atlanta, as well as Nigeria. The ways that you can leverage it, one, just our website, textgiving.org. We have a lot of different information there. We are right now in donation season where we're giving students back to school supplies, so laptops, hotspots, which will enable them to learn. So if you do need something that will enable you to learn, definitely that's something that we can help with as well too. We also provide different information on conferences that are coming up in terms of like technological conferences. So we are sponsoring a conference that's virtual, but in Atlanta called Render Atlanta, which is focused on front-end web development. So if anybody's interested in learning about front-end web development, design, coding, that's a conference for you that we're sponsoring. We're actually giving away 5 free tickets to that conference. And again, you'll be able to learn 3 days through that program as well too. Google has a program that they're actually offering for free for high school students to be able to learn computer science as well too. So again, you can reach out to me for that. Me being a Google employee as well as helping with the nonprofit, we can definitely facilitate you getting in that program. It's a free program where they're offering you tools for you to actually learn computer science as well too. So there's a ton of resources that we help facilitate to people who are in need. We just need to know who's looking for it, right? If you meet us halfway, we can meet you the other half to be able to bring that knowledge to you.
Right. Thank you so much. I know they are hearing you loud and clear. My other question that I have from the group before now is some of them have checked out TextGiving and what is being done. What is your motivation and your team that you constantly do things to another level? What is that, and how can they, as aspiring young leaders, begin to know that they can start small and not be afraid, and to continue to build so that they can touch more lives locally and globally?
Yeah, I would say the motivation is, ultimately just for, more technological products to be for us, right? There's so many products that we buy or use that you can tell that they're not really meant for, or they haven't been built for, diverse individuals, right? And the only way for us to change that is for us to actually have a seat at the table and actually be developing this technological solution. So I'd say that's the biggest motivator right there. Another thing is just the fact that in terms of, what's dictating the world is the fact that most of the people that you see in Forbes, like Elon Musk or like Jeff Bezos or, the Facebook founder, are all people who have provided a technological solution, yet you don't see too many people that look like us that are developing products like that as well too, to provide technological solutions. So we want to build not only the next generation of Google and Facebook employees, but we want to be able to be able to develop the next generation of whatever this person's version of Facebook or this person's version of Google founder is as well too. So we want to be, we want to make the next Jeff Bezos somebody that looks like us, or the next Elon Musk that looks like us, or so on and so forth. Or just your own individual person.
Wow. Thank you so much, Ayo. That's so very helpful to know. And listeners, you're hearing this, and I know for sure, you know that if one can do it, the others can. So tap into the opportunities that have been disclosed here, and definitely take advantage of it. Learn to also volunteer your way to greatness. I tell people the best way to gain access is sometimes you can volunteer, you can reach out and see how you also learn as you volunteer again. Okay, I just got another question here. All right. So for your college programs, is there any plan to do another one in the DMV area this year, or when is the next time, or how can they find that out?
I think it was going in now. Can you repeat that question? I think I got it, but I just want to make sure I'm answering the right way.
Right, for your college drives where you, I mean, not college, high school, where you give them laptops and all of that. They're asking that would there be another session of that in the
Yeah,
DMV area this year, or when would that be again?
yeah. So we're planning on having one August 21st, Saturday. I think it's August 21st. The location and all that stuff is going to be coming out within the next week as well too. So again, stay in lockstep with us. If you follow us on social media at TextGiving, TECHSGIVING, on all social media platforms, specifically Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. We'll have more information on that, but the date is going to be August 21 as well too. So look out for that. That's going to be in DC as well too. And more logistics will be coming there.
Awesome. Awesome. You hear that, listeners? This will be coming up. You follow those handles and be able to stay plugged in. It's almost back to school. If I were you, I would stay connected, especially I know there's some leaders of programs here right now. So I will definitely stay plugged in and see how you can be on the line for your students to get some of these back to school supplies that you have. I don't have any other question from anyone right now, but I know that you're busy, and as you close us out in your comments on this technology, what exactly will be your parting words for all these young leaders and people that would even hear this, and how can they help to support TextGiving and you support them and partner with TextGiving?
Yeah, I would say my parting words are just, the youth is a superpower. So definitely use that to your advantage. Remain curious. All the things that you have issues with or things that bother you in the world, figure out how you can solve them, or just look at ways that people are solving them in ways that you can advance the solution, right? That's the way that people, innovate, or that's the way that people build companies, or that's just the way that people learn different skills. But being able to solve problems are essentially is a skill right there. So if there's things that you see that are wrong in the world, or things that bother you, or things that you feel like are a problem, then just being curious and finding ways to solve those problems is the first step into taking that step into whatever greatness that you're going to take that step into. So remain curious, ask a ton of questions, reach out for mentorship. I can be a mentor as well too. So again, if you want to look me up on LinkedIn, Ayodele, Ayodele, and then Duyile, Duyile. So we can schedule some time to talk as well too. So remain curious, find people that you admire and learn from them, and just be creative as well too. Be yourself. Being yourself is the most cool thing you can be at the end of the day too. So whatever you do, make sure that your personality is within your brand, your product. Everybody has a brand now since social media is such a big thing. So those would be my parting words. And, I'd hope that you guys reach out, and wishing you all the best of luck.
All right. Thank you so much, Ayo. We will continue our program. We appreciate your joining. And guys, you hear it. Follow up if you need to. And that's what we do here, bring opportunities to you. The rest is for you to follow up and make things happen. Thanks, Ayo. Have a great day. We appreciate you coming.
All right, bye.
All right. Okay. That was a very informative session with action-oriented next steps for all of us. I'm so happy that I see a few of us, I don't want to mention names. I see Timothy still on, and a few of us are on. And I see a few of us are leaders of organizations. So this is the time to follow up on such information that was just shared, to ensure that those young leaders that we care so much for, that we want their lives to be better. A lot of times we cannot do it alone because we don't have all the money, we don't have all the time, we don't have all the resources. Connect with TextGiving, and even though Ayo is my son, they do work, and you can follow what they're doing. And we brought him in because we need resources that can support our network. That's why he came to speak briefly and to extend himself to those of you who might find the need to follow up with him and take advantage of those free computers, those free hotspots, those free whatever else he said. I heard a lot of frees there. So I would take advantage of that to connect with that network and see how to make it work for you. Any questions, comments, thoughts at this time? Give me some comments in the chat box. Let's hear what your mind is right now. Is it worth it for you? Are you gaining something at this point? Or is it overly loaded? Talk to me, guys. I can read your chat. Talk to me. Talk to me. I can read your chat. Let's see what are you feeling right now? What information is crossing your mind that you would definitely want to let us share with the group, so that it's not a one-way conversation. Anybody? As we're waiting for you all to do what you need to do and maybe to share your thoughts and your comments, I want to also go over, to shift back over to a few things that maybe you and I truly we hear about and we don't know a lot about. This program is supposed to be finance, technology, and some Afrocentric nuggets. And I will give us a little break. So I'm going to talk about the Afrocentric nuggets and then come back to the end of the program to talk about the next of the information. The Afrocentric nuggets piece of it is just the ability to let us know that as people of the Black and Brown community, we have our roots deeply rooted in Africa. And because the roots are deeply rooted in Africa, we don't always know the history of Africa. We have about 54 to 55 nations in Africa. Africa is not a country, it's a continent. It's a continent that has those many nations. Just one of the nations has over 200 million people. I will pick on Nigeria for a fact. But why am I saying this? I'm saying this that see this as your marketplace. See that continent as your marketplace, because it's the origin of civilization. It is the motherland. It is where we are royalty. We are priests. We are peculiar people who God has ordained and created. And it's where all of civilization started. It is where they brought people who could build nations that today we sit and stand and sleep in. Without the labor and the work of this people, we would not have been able to build nations like America, like Europe, England, and other places. I'm saying this to say that worth is our portion. We are worthy people. We are people of class. We're people of worth. WORTH. But when you don't know your purpose and your worth, abuse is inevitable. I know it's tough because we deal with so many things that people have labels about us and who we are. I want us to shift our focus to the power we carry more than what people think. The power we carry is why I'm sharing this Afrocentric nuggets. I'm sharing with you that you have over 55 nations, over 54 nations that you can connect with as a business owner, as an individual, as a school, as a student, that you can figure, okay, what is this nation doing that interests me? Because I'm one of them. What can I do for them? What can they do for me? How can we build and develop this world together? Because we are one. The color, the creed, it should not have a reason to divide us. If we all know the power we carry, the purpose of why we carry the power is so that we all can live our lives fully. But if we don't know our origin, sometimes it's hard to know how to fight a battle. It is hard to know how to defend a battle. But I'm saying to all of us that we are all great men and women because the continent where we originated from, all of us black and brown people, is the richest continent in the world, is the brightest, because the greatness that we carry is from our origin. Our DNA is greatness. Our DNA is smartness. Our DNA is great and beautiful things, is development. Let us stay away from accepting what the society is putting on us. And the way we can stay away from that is constantly being reminded that we are created as unique beings and we have an origin of pride in us. And when you're proud of something and when you are someone with pride and purpose, you do such. We don't go and do things that will negate our personality. We stay away from where we will get into trouble. I know it's tempting. Things are tempting. We stay away from where we will get in trouble. We stay away from where there will be sharp practices that would mess up our integrity. We start learning to live right and do right because now we know our origin. We know that we have access to all these origins where you might decide, you know what, I'm creating this software, like Ayo just said. We want more people that look like us to be the Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, and whatever their name is. We want more people that look like us. So we're not just consumers. And the only way we can have those people that look like us not just be consumers is for us to know our origin. For me to remind you this morning of the greatness that we carry as people of black and brown skin, because we originate from motherland, Africa. And I'm saying this, I know a lot of young people are listening, older people too are listening, but I'm even talking more to the young people to let you know that your greatness is within you. Just by the virtue of your origin. The greatness of Africa was what made people to come and take and divide. But that's history. We're not going to point to history and point fingers. I'm saying to us, let's liberate ourselves from the bondage of the past. Let's know that together we can, like President Obama said, yes, we can. And we will, and we are, and we shall. We can do all of this. Martin Luther King walked. Rosa Parks sat so that Martin can walk. Martin Luther walked so that Obama can run. When you remember this sequence, remember all of this are black and brown people. That's one thing in common. So their DNA is from Africa. Their genesis is from Africa. What are we going to do in our generation? We had a generation of walkers led by Reverend Martin Luther King. We had the revelation of those who sat, generation of Mother Rosa Parks. We have the generation of the runners, where we have our very own President Barack Obama, former President Barack Obama, who ran. So what is going to be our history? That is a question for all of us. What is history going to remember us by? What generation are we going to activate, knowing that we are from the genesis of civilization? Civilization started in Africa. We're the origin of civilization. That was why people came and got interested in Africa. But that's all good. We are here now together. We can begin to build all over our continent, all over other continents, because you have your continent. Your continent is waiting to embrace you, to leverage. You see, I didn't say return, because we can leverage without returning right away. I can't say all of us can return together. Of course, we will return at our own time, when we feel ready, when we feel like we've built enough. The other day I was talking to a friend. She said, oh, I'm building a bread and breakfast place in a country in Africa. She said, that's where I'm going to retire. I'm like, wow, what a powerful assignment for someone to put on themselves, because they got the revelation. They visited a few of the continent, of the nations on the continent. Now they saw that this is another place. They got value. They haven't gone back, but they're going to build. That's creating wealth. That's creating business. That's building. And the wealth that she makes, she can bring back here. She's also going to create wealth for the people there. That is the nugget. I'm saying that this is not the time for us to be found in negativity. I beg of you, let us know that we're great. Google greatness. See what it means. See who is associated with. And I'm saying that, see you in that greatness. See me in that greatness. But greatness comes with responsibility. Greatness comes with dedication. Greatness comes with perseverance. Greatness comes with thick skin. Greatness comes with authenticity. Greatness comes with positivity. I can go on and on and on. You don't just get great like that. It takes all of this, and we've got it. With patience, with perseverance, we can accomplish so many things. I rose from teller to vice president as an African origin, someone born in Africa, migrated here over 39 years. I've been in Prince George's County the whole life, my own lifetime, since I came in this country. Rose from teller to vice president with an MBA in corporate America, with 4 strikes, Black, female, Nigerian accent. I say this to say that your strikes might not be mine. I get it. You don't have accent. You're Black like me. Some of us are female, but those are not things that should stop you. Any strikes that people see, that's their problem. Make those strikes become positive. Do things that will make people want to associate with you. Find ways to add value. Choose your network of friends. That's why Africa was visited by these great people, because we had systems that were already created before they came. We had our own systems in our own ways. We had our own religion. We had everything. They saw the systems as well organized, oiled machinery. And they saw the resources that we were blessed with. You name it. What don't we have in Africa? Mineral resources, check. Human capital, check. Wisdom, check. We have everything that we need in Africa. They came because they knew that this was a set and well-oiled machine. And they came and did what they did. It's time for you and I to understand that Africa needs us and we need Africa. To create a marketplace whereby, as a nation, as America, I'm picking on America because that's my nation. You might be listening later from other nations. You can plug your nation's name in it. As a nation, America, as a state, my state, Maryland, and as a county, my Prince George's County, where I'm proudly a Prince Georgian for 39 years. We are able to create a marketplace beyond these places. So wherever your place is, see this as a marketplace. Other people who don't look like us, they have made that a business depot, meaning they're able to do things that will help them expand rather than thinking that we have all this crab mentality where we're pulling each other down. The marketplace of the world is what you and I have. We don't just have Africa, we have other continents. I'm picking up Africa today because this program is about Afrocentric financial literacy and technology. So that's why if you're joining us and you're wondering why did she pick Africa, the program was designed for that. Another time we might design something else that will deal with other continents. So young leaders listening to me, businesses listening, you are not alone. We together have the world as a footstool, as a marketplace, but we have to build from within. And that's what we are doing, getting our financial literacy nugget on, getting our technology ready. We need to be battle ready to be able to take on opportunities that will face us rear in the face. My fellow young leaders, I ask you that you know that we have your back as elders. We have. You heard me say fellow young leaders. Because country as a teenager. So I know exactly how it feels. And things are even more challenging now because you have to know that what's happening before and we couldn't talk about. It's now in the open. So you are dealing with more stuff. But always remember, you've got the village behind you. But the only way the village can be behind you is if you're willing to walk with the village. Some of you are already walking with great companies, associations. You have your soccer teams, you have your basketball teams, and you have so many great things that you do for recreation. Well, stick with those teams. That's your village. They will bring resources to you. Do not be an island whereby you're hiding under the shadow of people who are doing negative stuff that now able to apply to things when you need to because you would have had one record or the other. Let's live right. It's hard. Let's live right. Even though we have second chances, let's try and dare to live right and see how our living right will catapult us to our greatness. As someone who has an African origin, because that's every Black person has that African blood. And it's a continent that is blessed. And you can tell all of us are smart people. We have the wisdom to stick together like super glue to ensure that we lift each other up one person at a time. And that is what we're going to do through the legacy of all our affiliates. That's our commitment. And I submit to you that we will not rest till we do that. And we do that every day, one life at a time. And we ask you, if you're hearing us, you're a bank, you're a donor agency, check us out on www.legacypremier.org. Check out what we are already doing, what we have done. We're not bragging, we're saying it to the universe. Check what we are doing and see how we can align with you, how you can align with us, because we are committed. This organization was born out of passion. And with passion comes provision from God. And we know that when you hear this, if you're led to join us, if you want to use this platform, especially our emerging leaders, our women, our entrepreneurs in general, please let us know. We will create opportunities to bring your voice to this platform. Are free. We need voices. My bankers out there, I need you to volunteer your bank resources to have people come and talk to us about money, about savings, about checking, about retail banking, about credit. I challenge all of my bankers out there, all of my financial experts, to let us be the voice for the wealth creation clinic. That will be a variety of series, so that other times we will have other people speaking. And I want to say thank you to everyone who have joined us, who are on and have been on since we started. Much thanks to you, because charity begins at home. And those of you who have joined, you are partners that we have talked privately to see how we can better the lots, especially of our children, especially of our young leaders and people of color, the Black and brown people, to have that economic inclusion and economic empowerment access. It starts with knowledge. So I want to say thank you to all of you. Credit is king. Savings is essential. Investment is paramount. Retirement needs planning. I thank you very much for being part of this today. And we look forward to you joining many more series. And for those who are going to watch later, we say thank you. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, let's build this movement together. It is a movement, a wealth creation clinic movement. So join us and make sure that together we building our generation, our young generation, and we are also looking to collaborate to ensure that we leverage professionals who are always giving back, looking for ways to pay it forward. When you pay it forward, there is no limit, there's no boundary, there's no age. So that is what we are all about, paying it forward. So if you're led to be part of what we are doing, clearly speaking, join us. Join us. Join us. Let us get this movement going on. Let us get this movement going on so that all of us can be very, very happy with the generation that we will hand the baton to. As I also said earlier, that I want to talk a little bit about the credit section of our financial literacy. I promise I will keep it simple now, but I will draw from examples of why and what is a credit and why we need credit. What are the things we need credit to do? Who needs credit? Credit is simply your ability to have access to an extension of access to funds that you can use, and then you pay it back, you repay it to ensure that you get what you desire now, even though you don't have the full money, but you have someone extend it to you. I know I have a lot of young leaders on the call, so I'm trying to make sure I break it down as simple as possible. A credit is simply a facility that enables you to have what you need now and have the ability to repay later. Hear what I said, have the ability to repay later. You can't just have it now if you don't have the ability to repay later. So there are seeds of credits that would allow you to understand what those lenders look for. First of all, the lenders want to lend you money, fee income. They make money from lending you money, but they will not lend you money when you're not qualified, because they are using other people's money. They have to be able to justify to their shareholders why they have loaned money. So they have guidelines. Lending is not done on emotions. It's done on guidelines and just processes and all of the above. That's why it's important to learn what are those things that we need to prepare for. What are those things we need to understand to be able to go and apply for credit, so that we ensure that we get a positive answer. And when we get a negative answer, to understand the why. The first thing is establishing credit. I touched on it at the beginning. And the best way to establish credit that I've seen that has worked over and over, A lot of us, after we've become good savers and have our savings account and all of these CDs and so forth, you can put $300 or any amount that your bank would allow and use it as a collateral, because there's a C of one of the credit is collateral. You will be loaned money with collateral, but the collateral would not be the only reason. In the case of credit establishment, the collateral is critical because they know you're establishing credit, right? They know you have to start somewhere. So they can't be asking you for the other stuff. There's no way for them to see the history of what you had in the past to repay. But the collateral is critical to establish credit. You have to have something that they can look and hold and then give you a little of that, give you the amount that you have put away, because you've put your skin in the game. Why not? You put your skin in the game, they're going to join and play the game with you. So they say $300, you put it and you get a line of credit, a credit card for $300. You use it as a credit card. And I mean, it's coming from your account, but they're looking at your ability to repay. They're reporting it on your credit to establish credit. Guess what? Once you have been using and paying, please don't go and buy what you cannot afford. If you put your money and you go and use your credit card that they give you and you use the card and you don't pay back on time, that will ding your credit record. Even though your money is being held as a collateral, this is a test run to see, do you understand the dynamics of credit? And the way to show that you understand the dynamics of credit is to pay as you go, as your bills come, you pay. If you can afford to pay more than the minimum, go for it. But you have to make a payment every month, and make sure the minimum you pay, I mean, that you always pay your minimum. You cannot overpay this month and say, oh, they said I should pay $10, I'm paying $50. Your bill is coming next month. You've got to be ready to pay again. So just have that in the back of your mind. And because when you're establishing credit, you're establishing based on collateral. That is allowed. So your collateral will allow you to get into the credit system. And that credit system, as you get into the credit system, they're looking at how are you repaying? How are you not repaying? Are you slow paying? Are you okay paying on time? I strongly recommend please pay on time, the minimum. Otherwise, at a particular time they report it. I'm not sure if it's depending on the lender. They give you a grace period, but I say try to master in your head that you want it to be on time, so that the grace period doesn't slip through your cracks, and then it becomes a lateness, which is reported on your credit, and that start creating your ability to repay, your capacity and your credit history, and now formulating. And if they're showing that you're late, that's not a good thing. So you want to ensure that you're paying on time and that you're using the card for what is necessary, because as you're doing that, you're building your capacity. They're seeing, okay, what is your income? What can your income contain? That's your capacity. I can go out and say I want $1 million house. If my income doesn't support it, I will not, number one, I won't even get the loan. So always know that lenders don't say no because they just don't like us. There are some guidelines that is created for you to understand, so you know what needs to be done before you ask. So they look at your capacity. What income are you making? What is your ability to repay? So your ability to repay is what they will look at. For instance, if we go into debt that we can't repay, that's going to create a headache for us. It's going to create health conditions. It will create bad credit history, which means that when you have those good access and things that you need to do, whether you want to get a car, you want to get a house, you want to go on that vacation and get any credit, your credit will not support you to get good rates. Your credit will support the high rates. You don't want that. But if you build right, you will be able to get rates that are commensurable with somebody who has maintained good credit. But you have to understand that maintenance of good credit is very critical. You have to know that credit maintenance is very critical. It's not a joke. So don't go out and just use your credit anyhow. Understand that you're the minimum and only use it for essential things. They should strictly be for your emergency. Avoid getting caught up with, oh, use this card, oh, you get 20% discount. You don't always find a way to pay it off right away. And sometimes if you have the cash, use the cash. But build your credit. As you're building your credit, it would be telling. Your reporting will be doing its own. You don't do anything, but trust me, everything you're doing when you have a credit card is being reported by whoever your credit issuer is. And the best thing to do is to make sure you are doing everything timely. If you can, make it auto setup to an automatic setup so that the money is taken out. But make sure there's money in the account so that your auto setup, auto draft, popularly called ACH, does not also make you overdraw your account. So this financial literacy matter, guys, is some serious business. It's some serious responsibility business. But guess what? It's so doable because you're only controlling yourself. You're not controlling anybody else. And the last time I checked, the ability to control ourselves, we have the authority to do that. So we just have to have the willingness, now that we're getting some of the nuggets to understand, is to ensure that we use it for ourselves. Your past performances on your credit history is going to tell a story. What you use your credit for or your debit card will tell a story. So everything you're doing tells a story of what you're doing. So always go back to the drawing board. This card that I swiped to purchase this thing, did I really need it? Or was it just a spur of a moment? Could I have just walked away and rethink it and come back? Think of that. I do that a lot. I'm not a great window shopper. I'm sorry, I'm confessing to the world. I love shopping. I don't like to window shop because I have that thing in my mind. If I see it, I have to get it. Since I knew my weakness, I don't just go to the mall to just window shop. I stay away from the mall unless I have specific things to do, because I know once I see, I want to get. And okay, I'm growing out of it a little bit, or some days I just don't go with my card or anything that will make me spend money, so I can still go and have my fun without having my debit card, not even the debit card, because debit card you can get in trouble. You say, oh, I'll transfer it. No, you won't. Be disciplined enough. Know your weakness. Like I know my weakness. Know yours. I have a cousin. She can window shop every single day of the year, and she won't do any purchases. She will wait till she catches the sales, and she will catch the sale. I just don't. I'm just not blessed to have that blood type. I wish that was part of my blood type so I could be like her, but I can't. She would go and she knows the most frugal places to buy the best things and still save money. I'm always like, okay, let's go, let's go. So I don't have that patience, not the time to do that. But she does, and she does a fine job. Sometimes I'll say, oh, I need this. Can you help me if you find it to get it? That way I limit myself from the temptations of seeing other things that I didn't go to the store for and now will have to buy. Even at the grocery store, I don't know. I will go for 1, 2, 3 things. I will say, okay, this is what I need. By the time I get to the cash register, I'm spending 2 times, 3 times. Like I'm never going to come back again. What is up with that? I need deliverance, you guys. Hopefully most of you are better than me. So that's my weakness. What is your weakness? Once you know your weakness, you can guard yourself against that so that you don't find yourself adding debts to your life, especially when your income is not going at the rate of the debt that you're incurring. There are some debts that would show up that you don't have control over. But when you swipe your card at a store to buy things, the last time I checked, you have control over it. You knew that you had the card in your hand. You just did it. But if you know you're not strong enough to withhold that temptation, just do what I do. Leave your card at home. Don't take a card. Just go enjoy the mall. Maybe have yourself a $10 bill or 20 or whatever. So in case you need to eat, you have money for that. At least you can treat yourself to something. But don't go shopping on a shopping spree when you didn't plan for it. Just because they say sale 75% off, 50% off. No, that's gonna cut into your budget. Enough of that. I've beat on that dead horse. Be frugal. Keep yourself away from temptation. And I know it's easier said than done. I just told you how I do it. So maybe you can figure how you will be able to get around yours so that you don't incur debt. Credit is needed when you get your house, when you get your car. And when you're able to maintain your credit history progressively and positively, you tend to have better rate and better pricing because you've proven to the lender that you are a good credit risk. If you're a good credit risk, why do I need to hound you? Because you just go down the street where somebody is going to see the value of your credit. So you've displayed to somebody that you have good credit history, that you have good credit ethics. Because credit is ethics too, just like savings. Just knowing what you need to do to pay on time, know what you need to get, and so on and so forth. That's something you do over and over, and it becomes part of you. And sometimes you use other people's money. You can use your credit card if you're so disciplined. I have mentees who do that. They use their credit card, Amex. They buy stuff and they pay it off. And they use the points to travel. But if you're not so disciplined or you don't have income to do that, don't take a chance. Don't take a chance because you might swipe that card. You might say, oh, okay, I'll just pay them gradually. You would have just put a big debt on yourself, especially if you had the intention of paying it by cash and you just want to use the credit to accumulate your points or to accumulate something. Make sure if you're not disciplined enough to go right back to the money to pay it off, don't do it because you'll be stuck with that bill and that bill will not go away. So just a reminder on that. I'm still here. If there are questions that people have, put it on the chat. Let me see your chat, your comments, and all of the above as we're unwinding. But I want to do a call to action. If all of the things that you've heard are important to you and you want to see more of it, please email us, especially those who want to be part of the platform where we are going to be doing the Wealth Creation Clinic. What we want to do is to bring information, routine information to people, whoever, to understand the power of financial literacy through different topics, not just to blanketly say financial literacy as a buzzword. Sometimes I hear it a lot, and depending on who is saying it, I hear it as a buzzword. This is beyond a buzzword. And for those of you who are joining now, my background, my career has been always engaged in banking. Started as a teller, so I understood the retail banking, was an assistant vice president, retail banking, mortgage banking, and so on and so forth. So I understand because I dealt with clients who fitted into all of the things I've described. And I knew that the lessons I learned there as a servant banker has helped me till today, has oriented me till today to know how to maneuver my life in general. Because with financial literacy, your wisdom is charged. You're able to dare to be different and say, this is where I'm going. I don't have the money for this big restaurant. I'm just going to McDonald's because that's all I've got. At least I'm still eating out. I just don't have $40 to eat here today. Doesn't mean you won't have the money tomorrow. So remember, that's what we want to bring to bear here. We want to bring practicality to everybody so that you can see yourself in it. You can see yourself in denying yourself those Starbucks coffee opportunities every day if you can afford it, and then treating yourself to a Starbucks meal or special thing when you have the extra money, rather than overdrawing your account when you swipe your card and getting charged by your bank for $39. And most banks will not refund your overdraft if you're a habitual person that overdraws. They will want to know, is it a bank error? And if you ask me, is it a bank error that you didn't reconcile your statement and you needed to buy coffee for $5 and you were $1 short, and right there you overdrew, but they still let you get the coffee, and now the bank says, hello, Remy, you owe us $39. It's not a bank error, it's a Remy error. So Remy has to deal with that $39. Remy can try to call the bank and talk it through, depending on what is situated on the system and how often Remy has been given a second chance. Remy's story might not fly. So you might not be Remy, you might be somebody. Just plug your name there, or whoever feels like they want to exercise this. What I'm saying is that financial literacy is a serious matter. As I close, I want to charge all of us to understand that this is an ongoing knowledge. What I love about financial literacy is for the Jew, the Gentile, the black, the green, the blue, the white, you name it, ethnic groups, all of us has one common language when it comes to financial literacy. It's one common language. Money is money, the dollar is dollar. We're all trying to either save money, invest money, retirement plan, mortgage lending, business, starting a business. So because all of our needs wraps around this, you could have your own business, might be a doctor, a lawyer, Indian chief, whoever, whatever role you have, a legislator, a teacher, educator, you name it. Every one of us have to make our money matters priority and understand the dynamics of it. That's the only way that we would enjoy the fruit of our labor, because we work hard for our money. So we've got to be able to understand the importance of this hard work that translates to money that now we have access to use. So I say to you, it's very doable. We have people who do it all the time. It can be done as a group. I've seen groups who would challenge themselves to have accountability partners and just kind of, I mean, you don't have to open your bank account for everybody, just kind of having an accountability partner where you're having conversations. How are you doing with your budget? And you open up with yourselves and begin to see that you have an accountability partner that will guide you. And when you do that, hey, everybody smiles because you get testimonials from each other. After a point, you open up to one another and say, oh, guess what? I didn't really follow the script, but I'm so glad you did and you got that. Wow, I'm going to try to follow the script next time. And they've gone back to the drawing board and have successes. Some people have built their credit, repaired it, gotten their mortgages. Some have built up and been able to save. They've been able to reorient their mindset and know that planning for retirement is not when you get to retirement age. You can start as soon as you get a job. It becomes a habit. So you keep intensify and increasing the rate. So all of those things are needed for everybody. So are you going to join us on this journey? We invite you to join us. Legacy Premier Foundation is here for you. If you've never visited our website, please visit us, www.legacypremier.org. You can see a slew of our programs that we've had, that we're having, and so many other things that we've done. You can email us at info@legacypremier.org. We will respond to your email. We welcome your feedback. We welcome your collaborations. And we just welcome all the things that you desire on your end that you want to see, because this is your platform and we want to make it work. I see that I have some people still on. I don't have any anybody asking questions at this time or comments, we have been able to complete the session. If there are questions, I will hold on. If there are no questions, we can end our Zoom meeting, knowing that we definitely can continue this conversation. So if there are questions that you have for me, please put it in the chat box. And if there are no questions, I want to wish each and every one of us the best of the day today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking time out. Thank you to those who will join us later to listen. Give us your feedback. We have, oh, thank you. Thank you, Khalil. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. If there's any question we have, you can ask. If there are no questions, know that we're here for you. It's not just a one-off. You're here because you're special to us. You were specially invited by your group. So this is your access for life as long as you want it. So let us know. Khalil, I know you're chatting me up. That's exciting. Let us know what else you would like to see. You can email directly. You can go back to your program director who invited you to the program. Let us know what you'd like to see. Let's build it together. We're going to bring more voices. And if there's any specific thing that interests you, if you were here for the technology and whatever else you have, let us know so we can bring more of such people to you. But as I close, I say thank you to you. I don't take it for granted. I enjoy doing this a whole lot. I can be here all day, all night doing the same thing because I'm very passionate about financial literacy and economic inclusion and empowerment. That is my lifelong journey because I know everybody needs to have that. And when we have it, wealth creation will be our own formula. So I say thank you to you. I say thank you to everyone, and God bless you, and stay well and stay strong, stay focused. Remember, you are a brand on your own. Carry yourself as such. God bless you. Bye-bye.